Hello, welcome to Not Dead Yet's Film and TV Week for the 18th of April. I'm Dan.
I'm Lee, hello.
We're just going to have a quick chat about what we've been watching in terms of film and TV this week. So Lee, what have you got for us this week?
I have another tacky horror classic.
Okay.
Leprechaun.
Is that about that leprechaun?
It's about Leprechaun.
I think I've seen Leprechaun.
Probably, mid-90s.
Yeah.
Warwick Davis.
Oh, is it?
It's Warwick Davis as a leprechaun.
Right.
So there's 7 in the series, as with all of those sort of, you know, like Hellraisers and Friday the 13th and stuff like that. But it's funny. It's black comedy is its shtick. I watched the first 2 this week. The first one, so the first one 93, also starred a young Jennifer Aniston.
Okay.
It's funny. It's, you know, Warwick Davis is a leprechaun who they're massively inconsistent. He's a leprechaun brought back to he's 6 in the first one he's 600 years old. In the second one in the first one he's 600 years old. In the beginning of the second one it's centuries earlier, but he's 1,000 years old. So I mean, this is sort of like
So they're really worrying about that stuff then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Someone has stole his pot of gold, and he goes on the killing spree until he gets his gold. That's it.
Don't touch his Lucky Charms.
Don't touch his Lucky Charms. He actually, in the second one, he eats from a box of Lucky Charms.
Okay.
Good product placement there. Yeah. That's it, really. He kills them by hook or by crook. You know, he'll stab them, he'll bite them. He goes from having razor sharp teeth to having magic skills who can appear and disappear. But whenever he kind of like goes to kill someone, he always cleans their shoes. He has this thing about cleaning shoes.
So he's a foot fetishist.
Like, not even that. A shoe. Basically, he will. They were trying to get rid of him, you know. So rather than kind of because they couldn't kill him,
wearing shoes.
They just kept throwing shoes at him,
okay.
and it was like, throwing it on the ground on like outside,
and he was
freaking out. I kept picking up people, going, put his shoes. That's it, and you know,
sounds absolutely ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It's really funny and massively inconsistent. But it's just funny, and he makes these really crap jokes all the way through it, like really bad one-liners.
Right.
It's brilliant. It's really funny. I mean, but what you know, watch them if you like the basket case type things. You know, it's that sort of tacky horror film. But another thing that was announced this week, not announced this week, sorry, announced a little while ago, or not announced, but rumoured, is Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
Is potentially working on a script for the Expendables of horror.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Right. Got it. Yeah. So that'd be cool.
You know, obviously Expendables was crap, but it has all those action stars.
Yeah.
But can you imagine the excitement? I would be so excited. Robert England, Doug Bradley, you know, Jason
Who's Doug Bradley?
Hellraiser, Pinhead.
Pinhead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do Chucky in there, like Warwick Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, Rutger Hauer, Kurt Russell.
Can
you imagine having these people in it? It would be crap.
Yeah, no, that would be amazing.
It would be amazing.
I would watch that, even though I don't like horror films. I would probably watch that. Yeah.
That and the only other thing really I watched is the new episode of Inside Number 9.
And how was that?
Really good.
Yeah.
It's set in a
keeping up the standard.
Keeping up the standard. Yep. I wish it was longer than half an hour. That's my only thing. I don't think half hour is enough for them. I think you can't get into
hour-long specials.
I think so. Yeah, I think that'd be brilliant. It's set in not a call centre, a helpline.
Okay.
People phone up just to talk, get stuff off their
like
chest.
Samaritans.
Yeah, like Samaritans. Steve Pemberton is the new recruit, listening to people, listening to their problems, and Reece Shearsmith is like the boss. And you know, things happen, and strange phone calls, and like anything that they do, there's always kind of little dark things that happen. But essentially, him kind of being really sympathetic, going, "Oh, just fuck off! I'm just not interested in your boring little life. Well, you've got a cat. It's not a baby. It's a cat. Go with the fact that your cat's missing. That sort of thing." But you know, things happen, and you know, if you like the first 3, watch it. You know, the 5th episode is on next week.
Okay.
But it's on iPlayer. Check it out. How about you?
So I have been watching. So this week I watched. A friend of mine bought this for me, probably like 2 years ago, maybe. On DVD, and it was on TV originally. It's called Red Riding, and it was made of 3 basically TV length. TV, but films essentially. So 3 films made up the one thing, and they are called Red Riding 1974, Red Riding 1980, and Red Riding 1983.
Okay.
And it's all set in Yorkshire, and it deals with like a serial killer who is killing girls.
Right, okay.
But it also, that's basically the frame to investigate a load of other things.
Is it based on true stuff?
Apparently it was marketed as being based on true events, like the Yorkshire Ripper's in there, but it's really dealing with police corruption and organised crime in Yorkshire during that period between 74 and 83. There's a really great cast. It's got Sean Bean, Mark Addy, Warren Clark, Paddy Considine's in it. Rebecca Hall, who is gorgeous. Eddie Marsan, David Morrissey, Peter Mullen, Maxine Peake. It's a very good cast. And it's grim. It's very grim.
It's grim up north.
Yeah, it really is grim up north. And it's funny because I saw something. I think Screen Yorkshire were one of the producers of it, and I saw something else of theirs at the cinema about a month or two ago called Catch Me Daddy, and that was equally grim. So it seems like that's their calling card is grim. It's very enjoyable. I tried to watch it when my friend first bought it for me, and I was, I think, a little bit depressed at that moment, and I couldn't bear it because it is just very oppressively grim. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I found the first two films, so 74 and 80, really enjoyable. I found the last one a little bit muddled. Not muddled, but hurried. It felt like they're all based on, I think, David Peace. David Peace's novels. And it just felt a little bit too hurried at the end. But nonetheless, it's still, I think you can probably get it on 4OD, and you can get the DVD probably quite cheaply now. It's worth checking out to see if you want to see quality British drama in a sort of film format. It's really good.
There seems to be a resurgence of the British dramas. There seems to be
I think
they're kind of coming to. I think we've cottoned on what the Americans are doing with these long kind of drama series. We can do that as well. And I mean, I've not seen many of them, but I know.
I'm hearing they're getting really well received. I mean, I haven't watched Broadchurch yet. I've heard mixed things about that, so I probably will watch that at some point. I've also been watching more Bakuman, which is the anime series I was talking about last week about the two boys that are trying to become manga artists. Still very sweet. Really enjoyed that. Finished the first series of that this week, which is like 25 episodes. Started watching the second one. Yeah, thoroughly enjoying that, and obviously great for my Japanese practice. And obviously, this week was the first episode of Game of Thrones Series 5. So you haven't watched any of that, so I'm not going to talk about that too much because I don't want to spoil it, because at some point you are going to have to watch that.
I just get
it's so good. It's so good.
Like everyone's going, watch it. Oh, you weird. Oh, they're not saying that.
No.
They're just like everyone just.
But you do know that when that happens, and I'm saying that it's really good, then it might actually be really good. It's not just the general hype, because I don't buy into that.
I didn't care about Lost though.
Yeah, but you didn't care about Breaking Bad either.
I still don't.
Oh, you see, this is it. You really. I mean, this is like you've literally just said to me, "Oh, I might watch Sons of Anarchy." And you haven't watched Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad yet. I mean, that would just be a crime to go and watch Sons of Anarchy first.
Where's The Wire in this as well? Is that sat there, isn't it?
I would love you to watch The Wire before you watch anything else. You should really...
What's the hierarchy? What's the hierarchy?
The hierarchy should be that you go home, on your way home, buy the box set of The Wire and stay there until you finished it. That's the hierarchy of life.
Right, okay.
But that's not going to happen. So in the hierarchy of everything, you should watch The Wire before you watch anything else at all. Ever, yeah.
How many seasons is that?
There's 5. So that's about, I think...
100 episodes?
I think there's like 12 or 13 episodes, I think, per series maybe. Bad. So yeah, it's not too bad. It's not like the other American shows that are like 20 odd episodes.
Yeah, that was
it's not. HBO tends to be 10 to 13 episodes per season. So, but they're obviously they are really actually an hour long, those ones. So, but yeah, you should watch The Wire before you watch anything else. Okay, so we've been watching Bloodline every week. Now, what we're going to do this week is, if you've not been watching it, or if you're watching it along with us, and you haven't watched episode 3, stop this now, go and watch episode 3, and then come back, because we're actually going to talk about what happens in the episode now. Spoilers, yes, spoilers. So this is it. If you don't care about spoilers, then carry on watching. But if you are worried about it, then don't watch this anymore, because we are going to talk about it now. So I watched it last night. You said you watched it a couple of nights ago.
Yeah.
I thought this was a little slow, this episode.
Agreed.
However, I did still really enjoy it because I feel like it's building up. It's slowly, like week by week, tearing off little layers, giving us little bits of other information that we didn't have.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the performances in it. So this week, basically, it's set in Florida somewhere, deals with this family, the Rayburns.
Mm-hmm.
There's a brother that comes back. We don't know where he's been. Yeah. He's been sort of estranged from the family for some reason. Comes and goes, yeah. He's the black sheep of the family.
Definitely.
And this is Ben Mendelsohn's character. And he is fantastic. I love the performances in this show. They're very, very good.
Yeah, totally.
So last night when I watched that episode, so episode 3, he's now been allowed to stay. He's decided to come back and work in the family business. They run this kind of like hotel or inn, they called it.
Yeah. And he's like, they do fishing trips.
They do fishing trips, scuba
diving.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Now, he's been given permission. The father's had a stroke in the last episode and is now hospitalised.
He had a stroke where like the conflict in the family lies is that he, being the black sheep of the family, he was with the dad when he had a stroke.
When that happened, yeah.
Some of the other members of the family think that he may have done something to him, you know. I think we know he hadn't, or we see his version.
We don't know either way, really.
Because we've seen his version of it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Maybe I think then we have seen.
Yeah, where he just
so then maybe he didn't actually do it, but we don't know what happened just prior to that.
No, so it could have had something to do with it. The
I
dad,
don't think he did.
Well, yeah, no, it's in like a more verbal.
Yeah.
The dad doesn't like him.
No,
that's quite clear.
And in the last episode, we saw flashbacks of the father beating him quite seriously as a child. And that we discovered that he's also got a historical injury that's never really healed properly in his collarbone,
and
which we think is caused by that.
Yeah. And the attachment to the middle brother, which is
Coach Carter.
What's his name? John.
I think his name is Kyle Chandler or something.
Kyle Chandler's character, I think, pulled the dad off him.
Yeah.
To stop him beating him further. So that's where there's the attachment lies. With him.
I think amongst other things, but yeah. And in this episode, though, one of the other things we discovered. So this episode focused on the sister, who's I think the youngest of. There's 3 brothers that we see.
She is, yeah,
and she's the youngest.
Yeah,
and we focused mainly on her this episode, and we discovered that the father asked her to take the black sheep Danny out of the will, and she didn't do it, and now she's worried because the father's seriously in hospital and she hasn't done that.
She's a lawyer.
Yes, she's a lawyer. And what we also discovered though is that there's another sister.
There was another sister.
Well, there may still be another sister. We don't know that she's dead.
No, that's true.
She's just not been seen.
She's not been seen
or revealed to us.
And she's very much like not. Allowed to talk about her. It seems, or want. Something.
No one's talking. Yeah, something has happened. Either she's gone or she's dead.
Yeah.
And I can't help feeling that the brother, the black sheep brother, is in some way implicated in whatever's happened to the sister that's gone missing.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, I think that might be because what it showed us last night is that sister was the father's favourite.
Yeah.
And this is what the sister we now have that we see, everything she does is trying to get her father's approval, and this brother tells her, Danny tells her, you're not ever going to get his approval because you're not her.
And now, interestingly, you're starting to see the side of Danny, which is a black sheep, where where he is a bit of a wanker.
Yeah, he was quite.
He
wasn't mean.
No, but he's psychological mean.
Yeah.
She, the sister, is in a long-term relationship with a guy
who looks to be a cop that works with her brother.
Yes. A nice guy, and on the outset, everyone thinks that they're this perfect couple.
Well, no, I mean, the first time we see her, she's having sex with that other guy in the car.
The family.
Yeah, the family.
The family think they're this perfect couple, but they're not married and they want to get married. And then you're seeing that she's having an affair.
Yeah.
So
with her client, we discovered last night.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the brother was rifling. So Danny was rifling through a bag. I think just being nosy.
Yes,
and he found
but when they were talking at the car,
papers.
She dropped all her papers, and that pass fell out, and she picked it up.
Yes.
And I think he saw it then.
I don't remember seeing that bit.
Yeah.
So he was in the bag and found a motel pass.
Yeah, like a key card.
Yeah. And so he sussed, or he alluded to her that, she's having an affair. She's like, we're talking about this rubbish.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, then she kind of owned up to it. And he said, I'm not judging you. I don't care if you fuck around.
Yeah. But basically, make my life a bit easier and... Yeah, something along those lines.
No, but it was more because basically he was talking to her. She mentioned to him that they talked about the will, and he asked if he'd been cut out of it, if he'd been disowned by the father.
Yeah.
And she said no, he'd wanted to do it, but he didn't go through with it. She didn't tell him that she hadn't done it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unfortunate, really, because it felt that the reason she didn't do it is because she didn't want to do it because that's her brother and she didn't think it was right.
Well, they keep alluding that keeps doing the flashbacks where all she wanted to do was bring him into the family.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, there was a weird. The flashbacks were narrated, so there was the middle brother. Well, no, the middle brother's voiceover over it, saying, unfortunately for Meg, she had to make a choice.
Yeah,
and she chose a side. So I think there was a lot of stuff there. It was quite slow. Yes,
the first half was really slow, but
there was a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
That's continuing that sort of bubbling up. I think there is going to be there's going to be a payoff for all of this.
I think it's going to be some sort of dramatic.
Yeah. I mean, definitely the flashbacks that we're seeing. I mean, at the end of that episode last night, we see her opening the bonnet, the boot of her car or trunk, and there's a body in it.
But she's getting a phone on her phone. She's being called by Danny.
Yeah,
or Danny's phone. Anyway,
well, someone's using Danny's phone to phone her, and she's terrified by this phone call. And then she goes down to the trunk of her car, and there's a body in it, and that's where it ends.
We don't know who the body may be. Maybe Danny may not be.
I think it's that lover of hers.
Because also there's flashbacks to previous episodes of the middle brother dragging Danny through the water, isn't there?
Yeah.
In the rain. So
there's
two separate flashbacks could be
related. I think they're going to be linked. Yeah, and there's a lot of very strange things going on. But I'm still enjoying it. I don't know how you're feeling about it.
I was bored partway through, but at the end, going, okay, I'll watch this for another week. It's not grabbing me enough to go. If I wasn't doing this, I probably may not watch it.
I think also what's happening is because we're watching it week by week, that's not helping it.
Yeah.
If we sat down and watched 5 episodes in a row, I think that would really help it.
Yeah, totally.
Because what we're doing is it's trying to slowly build this sort of slow burn of tension. And by having a break, we come out of that mind frame completely, and then you've got to get back into it again. And I think that's harming it more than anything. So I think if you sat down and watched a big block of it, you'd probably feel a lot more well disposed towards
it. Well, I think that's how programs are made these days, aren't they? They're not meant to be watched.
No, exactly, and especially a Netflix thing. They expect you to sit down and binge watch it.
Yeah, and that's exactly
and to be honest, if we weren't doing this week by week thing, I would have watched it all already.
Yeah,
probably that first night, I'd have probably got through most of the series then, and within a day or two after that, I'd have finished it. Yeah.
I'd probably be like 7 by now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like 6 or 7.
So anyway, let's see where we get to next week. So that's it for us. You can follow us on @HelloNotDeadYet on Twitter. And email us at hellonotdeadyet@gmail.com. And Instagram.
Insta not dead yet with
underscores. And Facebook is
Hello Not Dead Yet.
Hello Not Dead Yet.
But feel free to recommend stuff for us to watch. A film or TV, or let us know what you think about what we're watching. Are you familiar with them? Do you like them? Do you not like them?
Yeah, let us know. Okay, so that's it for us.
Yep.
See you next week.
Bye.